Hello, brothers and sisters. Thank you for taking the time to watch this brief training. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the environment that we have in our classroom with our students and the environment that helps to effectively learn the gospel. And I'm doing this. I want to talk to you about the difference between creating and cultivating in the gospel. And so here we go with just a little thought for you here. From the additional teacher resources section in the Gospel Library under the callings and handbooks and seminary teachers, seminary and institutes, under the additional resources, we have some of our former resources. And one of those includes what is called the fundamentals of gospel teaching and learning. And in those fundamentals of gospel teaching and learning, one of those that was on that list of 7 is to cultivate a learning environment of love, respect, and purpose. And my experience has been that a lot of people think that this is something that happens at the beginning of a class, like a beginning of a school year, beginning of a new semester, beginning of when I get a new class, that then I need to make this learning environment of love and respect and purpose, that I need to create this environment. But mind you, I want you to notice that the word there is to cultivate a learning environment of love, respect, and purpose, not create a learning environment of love, respect, and purpose. And so I want to talk about the difference between creating and cultivating. And in doing so, I'm going to talk to you about some hobbies that my wife and I have. If I go back many, many years when my oldest daughter was not quite 2 years old, the only thing she wanted for Christmas was a rocking horse. And try as I might, I couldn't find a rocking horse that looked to be of any substantial quality. And so I didn't know what to do. And so finally I just decided, well, I guess I will try my hand at woodworking and make her a rocking horse. And so I bought a piece of 3/4-inch birch, and I sketched out what I thought the rocking horse would look like. And I went to work cutting it out and routering off the edges and sanding it and putting it all together and then staining it and lacquering it and things like that. So that on Christmas morning, this is what was waiting for her as she came to the Christmas tree. And you can see on the date stamp at the bottom of that's 28 years old this year. And I finished it on Christmas Eve, just right before Christmas Day. And honestly, aside from the fact that it doesn't have those ribbons around the neck anymore, it sits in my basement now and it still looks the exact same. I haven't had to do anything to it. I haven't had to do any repairs. I haven't had to do anything to fix it up or anything. It was created. It was a one and done, and it's lasted all these years. On the other hand, my wife loves flowers. And she loves to plant flowers all around the house, all around the yard. And so here's just one picture of our flower beds from the back of our house where we live in Timnath. And, these flowers don't just magically appear. It wasn't a one-day event to get it to look like this. I mean, to create and to have flowers look like this, it takes constant cultivation, if you will. And so there had to be some cultivating of the soil before the flowers were planted. We had to decide what to buy. We had to go out and plant them. And then it takes ongoing and continual labor throughout the summer, making sure they're getting adequate water, making sure they're getting fertilizer, going out and pulling the weeds so that the weeds don't overtake the flower beds and things like that. And so we have these beautiful flower beds, but it's because my wife cultivates them. And again, it's an ongoing, continual effort to have good-looking flower beds like that. And so in our classroom, what does that mean? Well, that means that rather than creating an environment, the environment of our classroom is something that takes cultivation. And so it's not something at the beginning of the semester or the beginning of the year. That would be creating something. But this cultivating is continual. It's ongoing. It continues each day we hold class. We're contributing and cultivating that learning environment of love, respect, and purpose. And the beauty of it is that when we have this wonderful environment of love, respect, and purpose, then it allows us to cultivate something else that Elder Christofferson mentioned at the training broadcast that was held this past January in 2024, where Elder Christofferson said toward the end of his talk, he said this: "My prayer is that we will be able to help all those with whom we have any influence make covenants with God and keep them, help them cultivate faith and trust in God and find hope. Notice again, he wants us to cultivate faith. That's ongoing, continual effort, and it will help us to help our students to come closer to the Savior and to be able to fulfill those covenants that they've made. I hope that you'll look for what you can do in your classroom to cultivate that type of an environment. Make it a great week.